No, I've been associated with this institute for a very long time, till I left a couple of years ago. And over this long period, I've seen the transformation which has taken place in the institute. Because when I first joined the governing board, it was a purely examination certification institute, offering the CIA by the certificate course. But, and then I was of course connected with the Committee on Education and Training. And very soon we realized that if you only offer one single course, which is a sort of a general course, it can only be used as some sort of a core discipline. And banking business has now become so complex and so specialized that you needed to widen that area. So there are a number of things which were done. The first, of course, was that we realized that people who work in banks, apart from having fulfilled this basic course, were involved in a lot of specialized work. And therefore you needed some niche courses where people who specialize in different disciplines could also acquire specialized knowledge in those courses. And ultimately, what is happening? What happens is that when you become a member of an institute like this and you hold a certificate from an institute like this, it's the institute which in a sense is holding out to the public and giving some form of assurance of quality to the person to whom the certificate is issued. So it is not only necessary that he should be qualified to hold that certificate at the time when he appears for an exam, he should also be a participant in a continuing education program, because unless his skills are maintained, then the institute can't hold out that the person whom it has certified is really competent to do this. So this was one of the main thrusts of our activity, that we built up a lot of these niche courses. The second thing which was done was we realized that there were already other educational institutions. There were management schools, there were economic institutions, and therefore it made sense for us to join hands with them and to give some joint certification courses. And we developed a number of those relationships. And that was what was done internally. There was a third area which I thought was important, was that we had to learn from what was done outside. And there was no sense in reinventing a wheel. So we had collaboration agreements where we bought out from other institutes the courses which they had designed. We paid them money for their trainers to come here and train our trainers. And therefore we brought in a lot of expertise, not merely in the new areas of banking which were being introduced in India, but even in anticipation of what would be brought in the future. So that was another activity of transformation which took place. We also felt that you can get learning not merely from buying courses, but also from having international conferences where you had courses and conferences and seminars where there was participation by people from outside the country. And a number, I believe this is a very important activity which the institute still does, where it's a two-way traffic. We learn a lot from some of the advanced countries. We impart a lot to some of the lesser developed countries, and for which this participation is taking place. And then we realized that we had acquired a certain amount of skill in terms of training and education, and we should make that skill available to other countries. So we started with Sri Lanka, then we have a number of similar situations in Africa, and we provide for them assistance in their certification courses. We designed the courses, we provided the facilities for examination and so on. And finally, when you matured as an institute, we found that why should we rely upon existing textbooks? Why should we not encourage research? Why should we not commission textbooks which would be specifically written for our courses by experts? And that has been. So that has been the transformation which has taken place. And I believe that because of this transformation today, the institute is a very robust institute, and it has got international recognition as one of the finest training and certification institutes in the world.
Sorry, sir. So my exposure to IABF is limited in the sense when I started working on it, but I found it no less than an IIT or any IIM in the country. Only thing is it is little subtle, it is behind the curtains. Do you think this institute, and if yes, how this institute can induce at college level career in finance for students?
Well, the first thing to realize is that this is an institute which is meant for people who are in the banking area. We did extend a part of it to the whole field of finance and not just restricted to banking. So we realized that there were mutual funds which were in the field of banking, there were non-banking finance companies, even to some extent insurance companies. So we did widen our courses to equip people who were operating in these areas. We also, I think, did start, I don't know whether it's still continuing, we had a preliminary course where even people before they entered the banking field, they should take an earlier course and know whether this is something which they like to do, because ultimately if a person should not get trapped into an occupation, he should know more about it before he makes a career in a particular field. So we have done that. But at the same time, we must not reinvent a wheel. There are different institutes which do different things. If NIBM, for example, organizes training, it is of a different type. It is for on-the-job training, etc. So similarly, we had, I think, a tie-up with some management institutes where we had a joint MBA course, where again we said in that MBA course there are core disciplines which you are better qualified to teach, whether it's in terms of economics or in terms of operational research or in terms of behavioral sciences. But there are certain things where you need in-depth knowledge of banking which we are better equipped to provide. So that's, I mean, collaboration has been there.